Okay guys, today I'm going to do a real quick video on my floating shelf system. I didn't get into a big detail about the build on these cabinets just because, you know, most of these videos I do, it's for the DIYer, and this is like, you know, legit custom cabinet builds. You really need a ton of tools, ton of equipment. So, you know, most of the time you're going to already have the cabinets in place, but this is pretty cool. My wife came up with this design. I was going to have uppers go all the way across because that's just what I do when in doubt, put a cabinet there. But she came up with this idea to have a gap here where the tile backsplash runs all the way up, and we had shelves running across. I rethought that and thought the floating shelves look really cool. So what I'm doing, I've got my laser set here. I've marked out the first two. I got to get up on the ladder and do the third one. But I've got about a 58-inch opening here, and I'm going to have a 42-inch shelf come right off the bottom, float, and end here. So it's just floating out in space. Then I'm going to have this one up here. They're equally spaced. It'll come across and, you know, in here, and then we'll come again from over here and do the same thing. So it'll zigzag. The tile backsplash will be unbroken that way. And the way we do that is we get a little more invasive. No fringe cleats, no anything, nothing like the store-bought floating shelves. We're going to actually cut the sheetrock out. The shelves I'm going to do are going to be about 2.5 inches thick. You can make them thinner if you want to, thinner plywood. I'll use a 1.5 inch piece of plywood, and I'll run by every stud, and I'll glue it and screw it to the stud level sticking out. You can hang from them. I mean, they'll easily have a 100, 150 pound load that they can handle easily, as opposed to most of you know your fringe cleat stuff you buy at IKEA that'll have a 25 pound weight limit on a floating shelf. So I'll get into the dirty part of it. We're going to cut it out right now, and then I'll show you again before we actually build the skin that slides over with the LED light in the bottom of it. So that's what this whole set of cabinets, it's all matte black. It's really modern. It's going to have a ton of LED lights. It's got LED lights in every channel and every grab bar underneath on the kicks. It's going to be a really neat set of cabinets.
Okay, so now I'm just using my multi-tool to remove basically just 1.5 inches. So I'll have a 1/2 inch of coverage top and bottom when I put the plywood on the skeleton. But you can see what I'm doing now is I'm just putting 1.5 inch strip of plywood that goes all the way through the wall, right up against the studs. I put glue and screws into it, make it really tight. And when that dries, that's really sturdy, and that gives me the skeleton to build the shelves on.
Okay, so now that we got all the kind of surgical stuff done, what we'll do is we'll let that glue dry. I will go back to my shop, make some matte black shelves, 1/2 inch skin on top and bottom, poplar face, and it'll also have a cleat on the side of the cabinet where it connects. So that'll kind of, and a kind of a rim joist, if you will, that runs across the face. And that will give me the structure as it floats out here, you know, to where it doesn't sag, it doesn't give, it'll just be really, really sturdy. So this is the beginning of it. And then, like I said, I'll take you guys into the shop, show you the build and install, kind of show you how it turns out. Okay guys, so now I'm at the shop getting ready to shoot some lacquer. We're pressing hinges and getting ready to shoot the front side of the doors. We've already got the back side done. But these are my floating shelves. So I want you to be able to see from the inside how we construct them. We have 2 pieces of 1/2 inch plywood because we want them to be a little bit sturdy. We've done them when we want them really thin with 1/4 inch ply. We did 1/2 inch with a 1/2 inch piece of poplar that goes around the 2 sides that aren't going to float. And I'll get in real close here. I actually, you know, rabbited out for the LED extruded aluminum piece, and it has still plastic film on it. So I'm just going to shoot it with that on there, peel it off, and go ahead and put the LED tape in. And these things will be ready to install after 2 coats of the flat black conversion varnish, two coats per side. So anyway, we'll get to that and I'll show you the install.
Okay, so now I'm just kind of speeding through the scuff up between coats. With the conversion varnish, we don't have to use any kind of sanding sealer. We just use 2 coats of conversion varnish, and usually take 220 grit sandpaper on the orbital sander and just really scuff it up. The stuff just sands powder smooth, and then the second coat just lays down like glass. And we have just been so happy. We've used the clear on all kinds of different projects, and this is our first time using the matte black, but it is such a durable finish compared to regular lacquer. We're just super happy, and you can see me here putting the second coat on in the spray booth. just kind of cross hatch it and put it on the rack, and that's pretty much it. We just do it both sides, 2 coats each side, 4 coats to the edge. Okay guys, I've got 2 of them already up. Just kind of wanted to show you how I finished the frame under it. I anchor a piece to the cabinet that kind of gives it its lateral strength out here. These are pretty strong, but you're only getting so much out of an 1.5 inch of plywood screwed to the studs. And then I run this one across just to even them all out. And this one here, I've got the LEDs soldered in to the channel that we caulked in. The wire's hanging out here. And I've just fished the wires down from this one to this one to this one. And just so you can kind of get the idea of what it's going to look like. This is not the permanent location of the driver, but it's going to be pretty cool. Okay guys, Saturday night, pretty late. I got to get this video done, so I just want to show you the progress. I wanted to get the backsplash all the way on to really get the effect of the matte black and the glossy white, but I did get all the LEDs done today. They kind of ate my lunch. There's like 90 feet of LED tape in this kitchen, so it's going to be a super cool effect. We've still got to build this island that I'm going to do an entire video on that Christina wanted me to do. It's going to have a table, like a waterfall table that pulls out of the island, so it'll go from sitting like 2 people to sitting 6. Air BnB, it's expandable. Anyway, the floating shelves were the main focus of this video. You can see they're very sturdy. I mean, I can pull down, I probably put 50 pounds of downforce right there, and I get them to move maybe 1/4 inch. So it's a really solid way if you actually want structural floating shelves. Throwing a little LED in there is pretty easy since they're hollow. It makes it easier than even if a regular shelf. But I kind of want to show you real quick just the finished product of the kitchen cabinets. Obviously the kickboards aren't on. I still got a wire hanging over here for my valance that I've still got to put in over the sink. Still got to put in the sink. But anyway, the LEDs are done. So I'm going to link the LEDs I use in the description. They're just pretty cheap Amazon. They're 4K. I like 4K. It's not quite as obtrusive to your eyes as like the 5K. That's not really good for you at night. Kind of messes up your sleep rhythms and stuff. But I don't like the 27K, the 3Ks that are a little more yellow when you're really going for this black and white theme, which is really in right now. So without further ado, I'm going to just kind of show you around the kitchen. We're going to get out of here. Next week, I'm doing a really cool ICF home tour. And then the week after that should be going into the home show. We will launch the site and announce our training and everything else, show you some more eco-finish stuff. A lot of cool ICF and pool-related content coming, but we'll mix in a little bit of this remod as well. So I'll show you here. I'm going to turn the lights out and give you the full effect.